Thank you very much. Let's see if I can intrigue that insight and find one topic. If you walk out from here with one topic in mind that, hey, this was good for you, I'm happy. Let's see. Let's see if I manage that. So, um, yeah, just before I start, so been working 6 years now, Outokumpu, been a little bit here and there, both sides of the table, consultant, working for international companies. My background is really around HR. That's where I come from. But accidentally, almost 15 years ago, I ended up working more with IT as well, or equally IT and HR together. Uh, those things happen, and basically that's why I ended up in that situation. Is that because I am a person who is very interested in putting things apart and putting them back together. So I like to build with my hands, but also like technology. When I found a radio in my dad's garage, I pulled it apart, started building it back together to see what it is. I'm not an engineer or technical person. This is just who I am. I just do things like this. So this AI data is really something that I find very, very intriguing. And of course, coming from HR, I'm interested in people as well, and making that work together is really, really for me. And at home, of course, I have the next generation coming up. I have 3 daughters who, of course, I am not right with them. I'm always wrong. So, have to explain to them what's happening with the social media, how to use that. But obviously, the belief in me is not that strong. According to them, they know what they're doing. So that's a fight, I do at work. I do at home as well. So equally going. But just, bring you first quickly Outokumpu to set the scene. I'm not going to go through the slides, what is read there, just to know, because not many people know that what Outokumpu does. So just want to say that that's stainless steel, right? So we are not the same as steel production as many other companies. It's stainless steel. There's a huge difference, of course. We have about 850 different grades of stainless steel. We have a vast, wide market. We make from this thick stainless steel to tankers, chemical, storage, to the thing that you have at home in your washing machine, or cutleries or pans, that the thing is the finest. So everything in between. So it's a very large application. But why I want to bring up Outokumpu more than just that is that we are constantly in a pressure cooker. Outokumpu, we are the first one who notices when the market is not going well, right? So we are the base product. So we have to be a very technology company and find out ways to do things better. We have huge investments in technology. Management is behind a lot of good ideas, which makes it fun to work for Outokumpu, because we are brave and want to take a lot of steps inside of technology. We are encouraged to try and test and fail. It's nothing wrong to fail. So that's why it makes it really interesting work out there. But it's of course, it's a good culture. Colleagues, everyone are really accepting the new technology, which makes it fun. Really, then jumping into the area, what to talk about today is really about people, data, and technology. I will go back and forth a little bit about that and mix it up. It will not follow exactly the structure you see here, but it's because everything hangs together. You have heard other speakers today talk about some of this stuff that I will bring up, but I'll try to focus as much as possible on the human element, all right? And let's go from there. So, does anyone have seen this picture before? I'm sure you have. Many have. Anyone? Just to show where people and technology and data comes from, even long ago. This is the FBI fingerprint storage from 44. Just fingerprints, nothing else. Imagine trying to find something there to prompt a search. I'm not so sure how long that will take, but it will take a long time. So just illustrating, we are coming with people. We have been part of the data technology managing processes very long. And of course, long before this, but let's not go too far back. Sometimes it hasn't always looked very organized, right? So sometimes we have had a little bit hybrid situation where we have the data on the desk and in the desktop. And this is not, this is 30 years ago or 40 years ago. So it could look like something like this. And why I bring it up is because we have, as people, been intrigued with data and how we operate data. We want to make data important. It doesn't matter how you have it, where you have it. It's absolutely needed for what you make every day. So meaning of data, of course, everyone knows this. I will not stay here too long. You're too smart for this. So really about the decision making. So it doesn't matter what you use, what you read. Data is for you daily. Is it in work, off work? You study, you read paper, you read the weather app, what shoes you will take on next day. Tomorrow will be snowstorm, so I will not have these shoes on tomorrow. So it's about decision making. Same applies in work. But how do we make that decision? What do we need for the data to have, or basically be? Availability. Where's the data? Many have already brought it up today. Where's the data? How to integrate? How to connect the connections? Very important. Then what else do we need? We need the quality. Can we trust the data? Can I really trust that it's snowing tomorrow, or will I have very sweaty feet tomorrow at work? How does this work? The same applies to work in HR. Can I trust the process? Can I trust that what comes to me, I know I can make a decision based on this? It comes from the right sources. And then I think this is very important. How do I make HR understand the data? How do I make the organization understand the data to be utilized? It was mentioned in marketing in the morning about this many times, to understand the data for KPIs, for example. What do you want to measure? So just to use the data right in the company, you need to know what it is. Then a little bit of the data where we also as Outokumpu is what path we have gone. Now, I've not been part of the first part of the human chaos where we have data everywhere, but just to, show you, we use a lot of scrap, right, in Outokumpu. So we have to order it. We have to make order of the data about the scrap. The same about the data that you collect, and the journey data has gone through. So really, where we are, maybe with Outokumpu pretty much, and many companies are, we are in the stage of structured data, right? So we know what we have. We're trying to make different structured data, categorization, subcategorization, trying to explain it to others, utilize it in different integrations for different purposes of the business. Not just HR, but HR data we want to push to the business. And that's why we have to make it structured and understandable. But where, of course, we're headed, you have seen this before, and we're going very much with the new technology into unstructured data. And that, of course, requires change in what we do and how we operate with data in HR as well. And really, it looks like similar stuff in the last picture, but it's very, very important that the structured data is correct quality. It has certain amount. For example, in our production, you have to have we recycle 90% of our stuff is recycled that we use for production. So it has a certain amount of nickel, ferrochrome, and other materials inside to make stainless steel. And we need to know what is in there, or we cannot make the right decision of the next product that we are developing or producing at that moment. So because of production, you don't just change in a heartbeat. You don't just go say, tomorrow I will make this type of stainless steel. You have to know what you do. Obviously, because to change product in such a big environment takes a long time. The turn of the ship is long. In HR, of course, we can make the turn a little bit faster than that. But the echo of quality, knowing what the data is, what is inside of the data is very important. So a little bit what it means for HR, that we have gone through a situation that we are in structured at the moment. So for us, it has meant really that we can trust the data more. We can bring up data easily. We are more compliant with it. We can share it more easily, explain it to business where we are. And we basically have been able to get rid of quite a lot of compliance topics. Trust me, that's a huge task. And all these funny filing namings, which we have seen throughout the year when somebody leaves and we clean up during offboarding the computer is can be funny. It's not long ago we found this. I cannot tell you all the cases, but those are existing. and what to do. Happy that we have passed this almost, I would say. I don't know if happening, but at least I haven't seen for a long time this stuff. But what this has then brought us back to the picture that I talked about quite a bit, and what is behind this for HR, and what really means the change for us in the data topic, and where we human element comes into play in the future, is really how we work with the data. So the unstructured, we don't anymore, how would I say, we are more like, how can I make this data? How can I make it available? Where can I find that data? So basically, we're grafting data. So it's about joining data together, bring it together, just like nature. Nature have brought evolution together, and so on and so on. Now we are in the next evolution of data. We are crafting the data. We have to start doing that, or we will be left behind. That's a fact. If we don't join data with different operational stuff, and we as humans play the key role to do that. AI cannot yet plug two things together physically, luckily. So we have some jobs, and also we have some ownership in the content. So really, that will be our part, is making sure that the data is there when you search for it. And we can already see, I saw a demo on Friday that, really, okay, probably many of you have it already, but was really nice to see that you can actually use a reporting tool and not anymore need to figure out what should I filter and not. Just type in the prompt and it brings out the data that we can already start building tomorrow if we want to. If we want to put the resources in there, you don't have to do your pie charts or whatever. It will do it if you know how to ask it. So that's another part of HR. We have to teach ourselves to really prompt correctly and utilize the unstructured data there if we want to make that work. So of course, the big enabler is technology, data collection, storage capacity, capability, and the computer power. We all know this didn't exist 20 years ago, 30 years ago, but it has grown with the human evolution of working with this, and this has all made it available for us. So the availability for us to really utilize it in different parts of business. Before, it was big platforms, big ERP platforms you had to take to use, but now it's small players coming in. There's a tremendous amount of small players who are able to utilize today's technology and offer that to you. You don't have to make big investments. You can make it small and do it much faster. And here again, people make that happen. That's a change we have to adopt to how we work with this and what we do. And this really, like the people factor, as I mentioned already. So back there with the data, unstructured data, and about the quality. So in the future, we need to be more the content scientists. We need to understand what is in there. And when those technology comes available for us, we need to know what we are plugging into those. We need to know what the AI will use there. So you can take AI using almost all of the platforms that you have today, probably. It's slowly trickling in. It was available, the big news some years ago, but, business is starting to see it and feel it now. So when you take something, you have to know what it's plugging into. Can you trust the data that it will be using? Is it Gen I? Whatever it's doing the AI for you, the technology, where it's digging in, there's no value if it's not right. Um, for HR, it really internally means that we need to upskill our capabilities to be able to be content scientists. We have to change the way we are working with it. We cannot continue as is. That's not an option. We have to upskill because the technology we manage more ourselves. We are using it, we are updating it, we are developing it quite a bit ourselves because, again, availability, it's there for us to take more control of us. And this is not just for HR, of course, it's everywhere in the business where applications and systems taken into use. Then the question is, do we still need IT? Of course we need. It's easy answer. We will always need each other. We just need to change how we collaborate, how we work together, who's doing what, the different ownerships of different things. What do we do? What do they do? I have no idea how to write a code, how to build good integrations. I need people with better knowledge there, 100%. So we just have to be brave, open up the discussion between each other, and make sure both sides understand that it requires change, or we will not make it. Then, basically, just a statement here from, or quote from, I don't know, do you know? Have you ever read Peter Drucker? A lot of good quotes you can Google comes up, but I like this one. I saw it in another event and I copy with pride, and I can be honest with that. No harm with that. If somebody does something good, take it. And basically the turbulence, and of course, don't do what you did yesterday. Try to do it better always. And if it didn't work yesterday, why continue? And also, this doesn't just require, we're not just talking about the turbulence inside of the company. There's a lot of turbulence outside of the company, as we know. And that means companies like Outokumpu, where we are very cost-driven companies, we have to do good business cases when we do investments. What will it bring for us today, tomorrow, and the day after? What does it mean? How do we work with it? It has to be a logic and have to be something that delivers value for the business and takes us forward, and that we can actually manage the turbulence that is ahead of us. Not what happened yesterday in the turbulence, but also what is up there. We don't know what's happening. We have seen that the past years. It's crazy how it goes quickly. Then a little bit about the people factor in the development, and basically I mentioned that we are the key. We are the key to make it happen at the moment. At the moment, it cannot, data or AI cannot do it alone. That's it. We have to be part of it. No magic will happen if we don't act on it. We also have to have a change mindset that embraces it. We have to take to our ownership. We have to take it into each department, not just HR, but sales, marketing, development. Everyone has to take the technology into their heart. Marketing as well. We heard in the morning, it's a key, essential to really accept the change that is coming. It's here. I don't know if the data lakes is the last terminology about data. Is it data meshes or whatever we call it? But generate data, connect the data, analyze it for decision making, as I mentioned, not just for today, but also for the future. And really important is to lead with facts. Don't assume that you won't make it if we assume that this is happening. We have to take facts into account when we do the project, what it will deliver, and what is the outcome, and that comes also with the business case. Then briefly, just mind the gap. It's a gap we are working currently. HR has to change. It haven't started yet the journey. It needs to start today, or we will be left behind. In Outokumpu, we have started the journey. We are, of course, very in the beginning of some of the parts that I just talked about, but we are definitely putting effort into technology and development and people and how we will be as HR in the future. That's ongoing discussion at the moment, full on, and it's a very positive atmosphere around that, and we see a lot of potential. But also the gap who we have working for us, right? There's a generation difference, very big generation difference inside of HR, outside of HR. We have to understand that we are different people and people will act with technology very differently. So we have to take that into account when we do it. And then also, I mentioned already that the business needs to understand how to leverage HR data. And there's a huge gap between people, how they see that. There's huge, somebody sees that completely unnecessary. And a manager told me, or a director many years ago said to me, HR will never have that important role. That person is not anymore working in a director role, I can tell you, 100%, and haven't worked for some years. The data is there to be utilized, use it, and learn and take the change management aspect very seriously to learn people to use it. It comes slowly. It won't happen very fast. Even if you prove it to be right, they will not believe you. It's funny, but that's human nature. People stand their ground. Managers are funny. We tend to believe in our own stuff quite a bit. To let go is not easy. And just in the end, I just want to raise some of the areas. This is, there are many more areas where you can utilize HR data. These are some of the areas that we have been looking in, and we have found strong business cases in each area. Are we all doing at the same time? No, you have to prioritize. You cannot do everything at the same time. But there are endless of cases where HR data can be utilized and be a very effective part of the making things better. Then just a few tips in the end, how I just for people to see how I see it is we have to in HR first of all, of course, believe it ourselves. If we don't believe in what we are offering, then the business will not. And we really need to embrace that data and technology and bring the benefit to the business, to the end users, show them what it can, but also don't invent things that they don't need. Do tests, do pilots, do POCs, whatever it needs to show the benefit. If it doesn't work, don't be afraid to change direction or stop it. That's the only way. It's trial and errors as you go forward with the projects. And maybe the last bit is really, I said it already, but demonstrate the value for business. The numbers will not lie. That's where you find the facts. That's where you get the buy-in, and then you can go forward. And then have discipline. In HR, we always been a little bit the gray area in some of the processes, but we also need to start having more discipline how we do it. We cannot just fumble around with the data or the processes. We have to have discipline. Then also the buy-in from the other stakeholders will be easier to get. Our factory in Tornio. So it's a big site to utilize data everywhere in a good manner. Is a big topic, even though we are just under 9,000 people. So in terms of people, not that huge, but the facilities are huge. Here is where we need to take advantage of technology in many ways. Safety, learnings, timing in, clock out, plant maintenance. Every minute counts in that. Millions of euros goes if we clock 10 minutes incorrectly for plant maintenance. It's up in smoke. So technology will play a big part. But yeah, I'll stop here because I could go on forever. So I'll stop right here. Thank you.